Welcome to our second educational module, which focuses on implementing the 3R, a strategic approach to waste reduction and resource efficiency. Today, we will explore how reduce, reuse, and recycle form the foundations for sustainable operations within our projects. Our main goal today is to show you a simple plan for bringing the 3R into our projects and daily routines. This will help us protect our environment, use resources smarter, and even save money. Here's what we'll cover. First, the 3R like a priority list. Reduce is the most important step, then reuse, and finally, recycle. Second, doing the 3R brings big benefits for both our planet and our wallets. It means less trash in landfills, saving valuable resources, using less energy, and cutting costs. And third, we'll give you clear, actionable steps you can start using right away, no matter your role. So, why do we need the 3R so urgently? Because we're facing a huge problem with waste around the world. Think about how much trash we make. The amount of city garbage is expected to jump by 70% to 3.4 billion tons each year by 2050. That's a lot of trash, and it's putting a massive strain on our landfills and how we manage waste. Our landfills are also causing big problems for the environment. They release methane, a powerful gas that harms our climate. Plus, they can pollute our soil and water with toxic liquids. We're also running out of natural resources. We're using up minerals, fuels, plants, and metals 3 times faster than we used to. This can't go on forever, and it also makes the cost of materials go up. And making new things uses a lot of energy and creates pollution. For example, making aluminum from new materials uses 95% more energy than making it from recycled aluminum. This energy use adds a lot to carbon emissions. As can be seen, the 3R give us a basic, cost-effective way to tackle these big environmental and operational challenges. It's super important to understand the order of the 3R. It's not just a catchy phrase, it's a step-by-step guide on how to deal with waste most effectively. First, reduce. This means making less waste to begin with. It's the most powerful way to manage waste because it stops environmental harm and resource use before they even start. If we don't create the waste, we don't have to worry about it later. For example, finding ways to cut down on leftover materials during manufacturing. Second, reuse. This means using items or materials again, either for their original purpose or for something new, without having to process them much. Reusing extends the life of products, so we don't need to make new ones, saving energy and resources. It's also less costly and uses less energy than recycling. An example is using old boxes for moving things around the office instead of buying new ones. Third, recycle. This means taking old materials and turning them into new products, keeping them out of landfills. Recycling saves valuable resources and usually uses less energy than making things from scratch. But remember, it still uses some energy, water, and special facilities. An example is putting your office paper and plastic bottles into the recycling bin. Let's dive into how we can reduce the amount of stuff we use and throw away. First, through smart buying. Our plan is to only buy what we truly need. Before buying anything new, ask yourself, do I really need this? Will it last? Can it be used for more than one thing? This helps us avoid unnecessary spending and cuts down on the amount of new waste coming in. It also means choosing digital documents over printing whenever possible. Next, we need to stop using single-use items. Our strategy is to get rid of things like plastic forks, styrofoam cups, and small packets, and instead use things that can be washed and used again. This makes a huge difference in plastic pollution. Did you know that over 500 million plastic straws are used every day in the US alone? Third, let's improve packaging and buy in bulk. We should try to buy from suppliers who use less packaging, or packaging that can be recycled or reused. Also, consider buying larger amounts of things we use often, like cleaning supplies. This cuts down on packaging waste. In fact, if packaging has just 10% more recycled material, it can be 10 to 20% lighter. We should also encourage sharing instead of owning everything. Our plan is to set up programs where teams can share tools, equipment, or resources they don't use all the time. Or, we can rent equipment instead of buying it. This helps us use our resources to the fullest, avoids buying things we don't need, and saves storage space. Finally, let's be smart about food waste. A big problem is wasted food. Our strategy is to plan meals better in our cafeterias, manage our food supplies wisely, and teach staff about portion control. This tackles a major source of waste. About 1/3 of all food made for people worldwide, roughly 1.3 billion tons, gets lost or wasted every year. Now for reuse, which means making our products last longer and finding new uses for them. Our first strategy is to set up an internal program for reusing assets. We'll create a system to find, collect, and give new life to office supplies, furniture, electronics, and project equipment within our company before we think about throwing them away or buying new ones. This helps us save money on new purchases and keeps things out of the trash. Second, we should promote reusable containers and tools. We need to encourage everyone to use durable, reusable containers for food and drinks, and to use tools that can be used again and again instead of disposable ones. This directly cuts down on waste. For example, just one reusable coffee cup can stop hundreds of disposable cups from being used each year. Third, we need repair and maintenance programs. Our plan is to fix equipment, machinery, and furniture instead of replacing them. We'll invest in training for repairs or partner with repair services. This makes our equipment last longer, saves us money on new items, and reduces electronic waste, or e-waste. E-waste is actually the fastest growing type of waste, increasing by 21% in just 5 years. We also should look into donation and resale initiatives. Our strategy should be to work with local charities to donate extra materials, furniture, or gently used equipment. We can also explore selling items we no longer need but are still functional. This helps our community, keeps waste out of landfills, and can even bring in a little money. For example, if we make clothes last just 9 months longer, we can cut their carbon, water, and waste impact by 20 to 30%. Finally, we need to encourage creative repurposing for our operations. This means finding smart ways to use materials or items within our projects that might otherwise be thrown away. For instance, using old wooden pallets for temporary fences or scrap wood for small construction jobs. This sparks new ideas and reduces our need to buy new materials. Now, let's look at recycle, which is all about getting our materials back responsibly. Our first strategy should be to set up clear recycling stations on site. We need to put clearly marked recycling bins for common materials like paper, plastics, numbers 1 and 2, glass, and aluminum across all our project sites and offices. We'll also make sure there are clear signs explaining what can and cannot be recycled. This helps us collect as much recyclable material as possible and keeps it clean. Second, we must educate and train staff on recycling rules. Our plan should be to hold required training sessions for all employees on how to separate waste correctly. We need to emphasize how important it is to rinse containers and know our local recycling rules. This is crucial for preventing contamination, which can cause entire loads of recyclables to end up in the landfill. In some mixed recycling, contamination rates can be 25% or even higher. Third, we need to work with certified recycling facilities. Our strategy should be to build relationships with trusted, certified recycling centers that can handle different types of materials, like electronics, batteries, and construction waste. This makes sure our materials are processed responsibly and kept out of landfills. We also need to track and report our recycling numbers. Our strategy should be to set up a system to measure how much material we recycle by volume or weight, and to set goals for our recycling rates. This gives us real data to improve and shows our commitment to sustainability. For example, the US recycling rate for city garbage was 32.1% in 2020. Finally, we should look for closed-loop recycling opportunities. This means finding ways to use recycled materials back in our own projects or products. For example, buying office supplies made from recycled content. This creates a circular economy, which further reduces our need for new, raw materials. Did you know that recycling steel saves 75% of the energy, 40% of the water, and 90% of the raw materials compared to making new steel? To get started on your personal 3 rupees journey, here's a simple action plan you can follow in your daily life. In the first few weeks, let's choose your first step. Don't try to change everything at once. Pick just one small thing to focus on. Maybe it's always remembering your reusable shopping bag, or always using a reusable water bottle. Start with something easy that you can stick to. In the next few weeks, let's look at your trash habits. For a few days, pay attention to what you're throwing away. Are there a lot of plastic containers? Food scraps? This quick check will show you where you can make the biggest difference in your own home or routine. After that, in the following weeks, you can make a simple plan. Based on what you noticed about your trash, decide on a few more easy actions. Maybe it's planning meals to reduce food waste, or finding out exactly what your local recycling center accepts. Set small, achievable goals for yourself. Then, over the next month or 2, it's time to put your plan into action. Start trying out your new habits. This is where you actively practice reducing, reusing, and recycling in your daily life. You might even share what you're doing with family or friends to encourage them. And ongoing, remember to keep going and adjust. Sustainability is a journey, not a destination. Regularly check in with yourself. Are your new habits working? Is there something you can do even better? Don't worry if you forget sometimes. Just get back on track. Every small effort adds up to a big impact. Alright, it's quiz time. Let's see how much you've absorbed from our journey into the 3R. Get ready to pick the best answer for each question. Question 1. Which of the 3R is considered the most impactful and prioritized first? Is it recycle, reuse, reduce, repurpose? And the answer is C, reduce. That's right, stopping waste before it even starts is always the best way to go. Ready for question 2. What is a significant environmental benefit of reducing waste? Does it create more jobs in landfills, increase demand for new raw materials, prevent pollution and conserve natural resources by avoiding waste generation, make recycling easier? The correct answer is C. It prevents pollution and conserves natural resources by avoiding waste generation. You got it. Less waste means less harm to our beautiful planet. Time for question 3. An example of reuse in an office setting would be throwing away old paper, buying new disposable coffee cups daily, using a ceramic mug for your coffee every day instead of a paper cup, sending all waste to a recycling plant. If you picked C, using a ceramic mug for your coffee every day instead of a paper cup, you are absolutely correct. Reusable is always the way to be resourceful. To wrap things up, we've seen why the 3R are so important. Our planet is facing a huge waste challenge. But the good news is, we have a clear, powerful solution. Your actions, no matter how small, make a big difference. Let's all commit to making the 3R a part of our daily lives for a more sustainable future. Thank you.